Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from beautiful, actually very foggy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, purposeful coach and speaker in the world. I hope you guys are excited for this wonderful day today. And it is my intention today to cause you, as I do daily, to see life from a different set of lenses, a set of lenses that is not natural or normal. It's a set of lenses that requires thought, insight, some meditation, some wisdom, some experience. It is my desire to take some goggles from the future, if you will, and bring them into your present, okay? Have you ever had a tough relationship issue with somebody, a challenging situation with somebody, a maybe very destructive or problematic or heartbreaking relationship issue? If you have not, if you can say, no, I've never had that, my guess is that you've been a hermit living by yourself for your entire life. If you've been in a relationship with anybody at any time in your life, you, my friend, have experienced relationship issues, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I intend to bring you the perspective of heaven today, if you will, which is simply this. Rather than putting a period at the end of your thought about that person, consider putting a comma. And if you intend to be really powerful, put a question mark. What do I mean by that? We tend to operate normally and naturally out of judgment. And I don't mean necessarily ugly. However, it can manifest into that. Judgment is when we have an idea or a thought about a person that ends with a period. In other words, she is a beep. He is such a beep. Well, that person, you know about them, they, whatever. Oh, I know them, they're, whatever. Well, I know him really well, man, and let me tell you how he is. Here's how he is. He's like, whatever that may be, ends with a period, which means you are in judgment. You have made a judgment. You have slammed the gavel on the desk of your judicial mind, coming to a conclusion about a person that may very well not be reality at all. It is simply your opinion and a judgment. The problem with a judgment being formed is that it is very, very difficult to shift that judgment, to change that judgment. Let me give you an example. A perspective. Stephen Covey, who wrote the lauded book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, tells a true story of when he was in New York and he got on a subway and he had a very long day. It was the end of a very long day, and there were very exhausted people on the subway that day. And a gentleman came in a suit with 3 smaller, younger children. The gentleman sat down, stared off into outer space as the 3 children began to wreak havoc on the subway. They were messing with people's papers, knocking over purses. They were screaming and yelling and creating a ruckus. Stephen Covey realized that everyone was annoyed and the father didn't care. The father wasn't engaged at all. The father wasn't doing anything. And he thought to himself, I'm Stephen Covey. I'm a leader. I think I'll talk to the guy and set him straight. So Stephen Covey approaches the man and says, hey, listen up. Take a look at your kids. Look at what your kids are doing. They're wreaking havoc in here. Maybe you can try to control your kids. To which the man replied, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize what was going on. I apologize. Their mom has been suffering with cancer for the last several months in the hospital, and she just passed away about an hour ago. And I guess they don't know how to process it, neither do I. I'm so sorry. Let me go get my kids. perspective. You see, Covey had placed a period at the end of his judgment rather than a question mark. What could be going on? What could be happening here? What could be the reason behind that? What is the rest of the story? The question mark is the most powerful because it keeps you in curiosity instead of judgment. It keeps you open to other information that could be available. Most importantly, it keeps you from having your panties wadded up in a bunch in judgment and attitude and drama. Which, by the way, here's a little side note, a little extra something in your Christmas stocking. If you find yourself drawn to drama, it's probably because you don't have a vibrant spiritual relationship with your Creator. And drama is a counterfeit to the joy-filled, vibrant life of adventure that one has when they walk with their Creator. That's a bonus for you right there. So let me tell you what he did when he found out what had happened to the man. Then Stephen Covey became who he really was and began to minister to or surround and help the man with whatever encouragement he could in that moment. But do you see the difference in perspective? He began with a period at the end of his thought, and it was a judgment. When you have difficult relationships, I'm challenging you to put a comma instead of a period, because you never know how a person can change. You never know how a person can turn around. You never really know what went on in that person's life to bring them to that place, to conduct themselves the way they're conducting themselves. And you never really know who could intervene, what could intervene that could cause them to have a self-reflective moment that manifests in a change of thinking in their life and the way that they live. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be buddies again. It doesn't mean you have to get together again. It doesn't mean that you have now said, oh, I just let go of everything. Everything is cool. No, what it does mean is that you have protected your heart and, quite frankly, your body physically from the poison that accompanies judgment. Because when we are in judgment of another, there are chemicals released in our body that are not good. It is not good at all. You'll see people eaten up with anger and frustration. You can tell who's bitter and who's carrying this weight without them having to even tell you. You can see it in their face. You can feel it in their energy. It's just something that is not creating an environment in their physical body that is conducive to health and joy and peace and life. It robs you when you are in judgment. So are you having or have you had a difficult relationship? My challenge to you today is to consider putting a comma at the end of that. Put just a pause. Now that comma could take years. And so what? Wouldn't you rather be healthy for years? Wouldn't you rather have joy for years? Wouldn't you rather have open arms and open hands and release them to their own experience without you having to be entangled by that in your thought life? And if you really want to be powerful, put a question mark at the end of that statement. I wonder why she's like, boom. I wonder what's going on that causes him to. I wonder what's happening that's making this. I wonder what could be going on that has them at. I wonder what happened when they were younger that. When you think with a period at the end, you're in judgment. When you think with a question mark at the end, you're in curiosity. Stay in curiosity, get out of judgment, and live a happier, healthier life. Have a great day, guys.